Hey everybody, welcome to today's Daily Market Update. The date is October the 3rd, 2017. Hope everybody had a good trading day today. We're going to look at the same 8 things that we look at in the markets. We look at the S&P, the NASDAQ, crude oil, gold, the 10-year note, the euro, the Aussie, and the Canadian dollar. So if you like what you're looking at, do me a favor, subscribe, share, give me a like on Twitter, whatever it is that you do. Share it with some buddies. Be good to do. So, yesterday we talked about the ES, and let me maximize this sell a little bit. We talked about the ES, and we said there's absolutely no way that I'd be shorting this thing. And today, anybody who took the long on the breakout was rewarded. Today there was a definite, we talked yesterday about the breakout potential, and don't know if any of you took the long on the breakout. It was a small little move, but there was a little bit of a pickup. You could pick up a couple of points on the breakout for very short-term traders. You did get a little bit of a rally up on that breakout. I would not be buying today. And the reason I would not be buying right now is because right now we've already broken up. We're overextended. We're at these all-time highs. I'd love to see a little bit of a pullback. Now, interestingly enough, the breakout that we got today, that occurred right around 10 o'clock in the morning, so which is a pretty good time of the day to look for opportunities. You may get just a pullback into here as a chance to get back in. So just a little pullback into here. One of the studies, I was talking to a trader friend of mine today, and one of the studies to look at is kind of volume profile, and that tells me, that's done. We do that on looking at that. I look at it a lot of times on price, right? What's the volume on price? And I'm not a big volume guy, but volume on price is kind of interesting. And we saw that as price went up, our volume declined, right? But we had a spike in volume here as price left that area. So that's not volume on time, that's volume at each individual price. Now, obviously, the longer you stay at an area, the bigger your volume is going to be because you got more time at that zone and at that region. But we look for levels kind of around those. So, I'll talk a little bit more about that if you guys want to know a little bit more about it. But volume on price, the volume profile is pretty interesting to look at. So there's the ES. Like I said, I'd look for a pullback before I'd be willing to do anything with that. Looking at the NASDAQ, the NQ, certainly after our pullback into this level, we haven't had any good pullbacks lately. You even go out to the daily, and you can see we're back up to this area where it was, right about our all-time high in the NASDAQ. We're about to approach that again. That's been hit a couple of times, so I think there's a chance we could pull back from there a little bit, which would correspond with a good opportunity for a pullback in the S&P. Crude oil. Now, crude oil, as of yesterday, we were still bullish until all of a sudden we broke through that rising trend line and were unable to hold it when price came down to it. So our sentiment may have changed a bit. And the reason our sentiment may have changed a bit is because we're breaking through demand, right? Demand is no longer being respected. The demand is actually being violated. So the violation of demand and the respect of sell orders, when I'm respecting sell orders, but we are not respecting buy orders, that's a chance for the market to continue to fall further. And this could continue to fall realistically, I would say, until this area in here. So mind you, we're still on the hourly chart, but I think that this is our next good stopping point in crude oil if we break below this area. So for those of you that are breakout style of traders, and look at our last breakout in crude, right? Here was our last breakout in crude. As it broke below here, you got a strong move on the breakout, and that was nearly a full point off of that breakout. So from here, where's our next stopping point? Well, our next stopping point is where we've got a collection of support, if you will, a collection of buyers to support price, and that the collection of buyers to support price, that fair value area, doesn't come into play until right around here, call it 48 and a half, in that range. So keep the crude oil levels in mind. I do like a short on the breakout from here. Could we get a false breakout? Yep. But I like the short on the breakout from here. Stop it be above that prior pivot. Gold. I've been waiting for gold to come back up and retest this area. It's not quite done it yet. So continue to sit on my hands, continuing to be patient in gold. I don't want to short it too early. And I'd rather not short it at all than short it too early. So I'm still waiting for a little bit of a rally back up in here. Hasn't happened yet, but that's still what I want to see. Going back into our bond markets. So starting with our 10-year note. So the 10-year note, we talked about it yesterday. This level worked once extremely well. We've come into it again. You could get a secondary move out of it. I wouldn't trust it. I will tell you, the fact that we touched it, came out a little bit, came back into it. If you got short this thing, I would be very, very quick to take any profits at all. I would, manage that thing pretty tightly. That seems to make a lot of sense. I still think my better areas are somewhere up in here. In that 10-year note. The Aussie dollar, I'm still waiting on this area up in here, so really nothing yet in the Aussie dollar. Did I miss a little bit of a move by not buying it down here at the quadruple sevens? Yep. But the big picture isn't giving me a reason really to step in and buy. I mean, you had this little pausing point here, but this pausing point here, we'd hit that a couple of times. And so the big picture is not really giving me a strong reason to buy. So I'm holding off. I'd love to see a pullback into here. That would be a confirmed lower swing low and a lower swing high, which would indeed show my weakness. If I throw on a MACD, the thing I like about the MACD is that it does help me to define momentum. And I see here I've got 2 consecutive higher swing highs. However, my momentum indicator is showing me 2 consecutive lower swing lows. Take that opposed to the prior 2 swing highs, with my momentum indicator giving me higher swing highs. That's a continuation picture. This is a reversal picture, and that's really what I'm looking at right now. In the euro came back up into the level today that we had spoken a little bit about yesterday, so don't know if anyone was able to catch this level today, but it really just did a kiss on the 1182 and then started to fall away out of that zone. I'm still got a big picture target, long-term target of 115 on the euro, price coming down from here into that range. And then the Canadian dollar. Now, the Canadian dollar did give me a false breakout today. So yesterday we talked about a little bit of a descending triangle. We broke out below that descending triangle. I love my stops. I love my stops. I love my stops. Price came back up, stopped us out. If you got short on this, and it's continued to run higher. So all in all, it's been fairly we've been fairly accurate on what we've been looking at. We've had a couple of misses, and you're going to take swings and misses. And that Canadian dollar, definitely a small miss. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what we're looking at today. If you've got something you want me to look at, send me a message either here in the YouTube channel or send it to me via Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Chuck Fulkerson or at IIE Financial. Either one of those are where you can get me on Twitter. Once again, at Chuck Fulkerson or at IIE Financial. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you all soon. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.